Hey guys, welcome to another podcast with NECKROOTS. I'm Kit James.
Austin Davis.
And you know what? This one's going to be a little bit fly by the seat of our pants today because I just rolled in from the job. Just rolled in and 100%. We don't have a title today, dude.
I don't think we do, Kit. So what's been on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
Well, that's what we're going to have to do because we do that anyway all the time.
Yeah.
But we at least have 5 seconds to chat about it, right?
Yeah, and we prepare and put some notes down and some thoughts together on whatever it is that we're going to talk about. But
but we don't even have a title.
Let's throw it today.
So I think the best thing about not having a title, we will have a title by the end of this.
I think so.
So
yeah,
I mean, it'll be titled something.
Yeah, right.
So look for the next episode called something.
Yeah, called something.
You know, one of the things that's been on my mind is results, like performance results. I'll give you an example. And the reason is I'm bidding for this big contract, and this guy's asking me all these questions and this and that, and you know, I just couldn't help but think in my mind, this guy's a smart guy, and I'm listening to him, and I'm like, you're asking all the wrong questions, right? And the reason you're asking all the wrong questions is, let's focus on what results have been achieved that are going to equal the task at hand that you're asking me to do.
Yeah.
Right? You're asking me all these other academic, intellectual questions that, I mean, they don't add up to nothing.
Right. Sure.
Can I do the job? Yes or no?
Yeah. Well, with you, Kit, the answer is always yes.
Well, I know, but can you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
He don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Right?
You know.
He doesn't know Billy the Kit.
Yeah, right? Billy the Kit.
So when you don't know and you're asking questions and you're trying to, you know, through that, asking those questions, you're really trying to discover something. So there's reasons and there's results. I think maybe if you're cool, we talk about a little bit about that. We'll title it Reasons and Results, because the reasons he was asking me all these questions was relevant.
Yeah.
Right? He was trying to get his warm blankie that I could perform the task at hand. Right? Why do NBA players practice? Right?
Sure.
So those results will show up in the game.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I think reasons are very important. But when I'm hiring somebody, you know, people always come to me and they'll say, hey, look, here's my resume. Here's where I've worked. Here's what I can do. This is how many years experience I have. And man, they're good.
Yeah.
And I say, you know what? Put all that away. Documentation and conversation doesn't matter when it's out here and we're in the field and we're working. I'll tell you what, if you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, I'll pay you what you think you're worth today in cash.
Yeah.
And today's going to be your resume.
Absolutely. Right? And that's based on the results. Right?
Absolutely.
That's not based on their feelings.
Right.
Yeah. It's not, they have a sob story, so I'm going to give them more money. It's they perform, got their results.
Right.
They're worth what, you know, their value is what somebody's willing to pay.
And the truth is you can tell in the first couple hours if they're walking around timid and I just don't know where I fit in on the crew or this or that or whatever. You can usually tell. I think being polite and making sure you don't step on toes is one thing, but you can tell all the time. You can tell every time. Yeah. And there's been so many times halfway through the day at lunchtime, they'll say, what do you think, boss? I said, dude, I think you ought to wear that free T-shirt that I gave you and go home.
Yeah, no kidding.
Honestly.
Yeah, right. So that you bring up something really important here, Kid, is that, you know, results and reasons and results are tied together, right? I guess that's what we're going to call this this episode today is reasons and results. And I think a lot of times what'll happen is we get into this this thought process that it's always reasons or results, right? Like, I know we just did an episode on excuses or whatever, but, you know, we tell ourselves why we can't do something, right? And I think when we get into that mode of thinking, we have already developed negative thoughts about the achievement or the end result, right? And if you're giving yourself reasons why you can't do something, you're done.
Yep.
You're not going to achieve that, right? And so if Neck Nation, if you're one of those folks, and I'm guilty of it at times too. Right?
Oh, we all are. Yeah, for sure.
But if you're giving yourselves reasons why you can't do something, we need a mind shift and start giving ourselves reasons why we can do something. And I think that's important, right? Reasons or results happens a lot of times, but reasons and results is more important. Here's the reason why I was able to accomplish this result. And I just want to reiterate something that we mentioned here, which is, this world is driven off of results, right? It's not driven off of I feel this way or whatever. And if you're going out looking for a job, right, it's what's on your resume, right? What have you accomplished? What have you done? What responsibilities have you taken over? Right? What are your results? And you get hired based on those. It's not this whole world of, I've had a really hard life and things have been really tough for me and I just need to catch a break. The world isn't handing out breaks, dude. It is not handing out breaks for nobody.
No, you know what's funny is people give you the benefit of the doubt. And anytime you give someone the benefit of the doubt, they benefit and you doubt.
There you go.
And that's the truth. That's just how it goes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a performance-based world. It really is. You're right. Results are the only thing that really matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what reasons there are, but we get stuck in that trap or in that rut. And a rut is just a grave with both ends kicked out of it. It really is.
Yeah.
And so we'll be hammering through there and it makes us feel better. Oh, these are the reasons why I couldn't do this or I couldn't perform that to this level or whatever. Couldn't get it done on time. At the end of the day, those are the reasons why, but at the end of the day, you still got to have that result. That result still has to be achieved. That task still has to be achieved. Yeah. And so I do think, even I'll tell my kids, I'll say, hey, this and this and this need to be done. They'll say, oh, that's a lot. Well, then you better get after it.
Yeah,
right?
Dude. Start at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? That's what time your day starts.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. And so, they'll compartmentalize it. And it's just, I think it's a human reaction for us to automatically try to calculate, is this hard or is this easy? Well, life's hard.
Life is hard, dude.
So we just have to choose our hard, and we want to choose one that has results. But if you look at these people that have results, that are driven and have results, they take the reasons and they can be failures or whatever, right? Yep. They'll take those reasons, they'll learn from those reasons, they'll stack those reasons, and pretty soon they'll build a reasonable White House out of those reasons. You know what I mean? They keep going.
Yeah.
And you look at the Major League Baseball players or any athlete, professional athlete, you look at their batting average. There's nowhere on that batting average where it says the reasons why
I didn't hit them. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no place for it in life, right?
Yep.
But there's a place for it in each other's hearts, and we can, you never know what someone's going through in silence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we talked about that.
We definitely don't want to judge, but guess what? At the end of the day, we're judged on our result. Even a tree. You can judge a tree based on the fruit it bears.
Yeah, or how big it's grown, right?
Right.
Exactly.
There's reasons why some trees in the shade don't grow or whatever, and that tree's got a good reason, but you know what? If it was designed to grow, grow.
Yeah, dude, that's a good point you bring up. Sometimes there are good reasons, right? Yeah. There are, like, hey, I didn't get to work today because I got in a car accident. It's like, well, okay, good reason to not be at work today, right? I understand why you didn't show up here. You don't have a car anymore. But I think the other important thing about reasons, and we've all got to understand this, and I think we do. I think, Neck Nation, I think we all get this. We just don't say it out loud enough, is that results don't come free.
Right.
They're not handed out. Just like the world doesn't hand out breaks, results don't get handed out either, right? They take, it's hard work, it's dedication, it's uncomfortableness, it's pain, it's hardships, right? All these things in order to accomplish the result. And I think we just have to sit back and ask ourselves a few questions. And that would be, am I willing to go through all this to get my results? And if I am willing to go through all this, who's it up to? And the only person that can answer those questions is ourselves, right? As you, Neck Nation, you got to answer that question for yourself. So some good points, kid.
Yeah, and you know what results take? One thing I've studied is these results-driven people. Results takes commitment.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it takes a very focused, laser-focused commitment because, and I think as society, we're, it seems like the younger generation or as we grow, as we go, people are afraid more and more of commitment. You know, if you tell somebody, I know right away if my kids are going to do something or not. I can tell them, well, it doesn't matter what it is. Pick that rock up and move it over here.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll look at me and they'll say nothing, and they'll just get right after it. Or they'll say, okay, ask a few questions to make sure they're picking up the right rock or whatever. But when they say the words, I'll try.
Oh, man, yeah.
Bro, you already know it ain't going to happen. I tell them, don't say that. Don't say try. Trying's lying, dude.
I'll give it my best shot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That I'll try, I'll give it my best shot mentality. And that goes back to if you're already coming up with reasons not to do something or reasons why you can't do something, you're non-committal.
Yeah.
You've shot yourself in the foot. You've completely undermined your ability to accomplish something.
Yeah.
Just like you're saying.
And when you commit to do something, the reason there's a little bit of a fear there for some people is when you commit to do something, you're like, crap, dude, I got to do it.
The pressure is on.
I mean, when you were younger and you told the bully, look here, it's going to get Western if you butt me out of line one more time, right?
Yeah.
You can't throw out a commitment like that.
And then not back it up.
No, it don't matter if the bully's 3 times the size, dude. You got to come in swinging like the third monkey getting on the Noah's Ark. You got
no kidding. Well, and you told me this a long time ago, Kit, and you said, most of the time, and this is only relevant to standing up to people, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to back down. But you better be ready for that 10th one because he's going to step up to the plate and he'll go fisticuffs with you. So,
oh, yeah. If you bow up on them and send it, they'll back down 90% of the time.
90% of the time, yeah.
You can
Doesn't matter how small you are. So
no, it don't matter.
Put that in your pocket, Neck Nation.
Yeah, we just told you something for free.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean? Just don't use it on me. I'll be the 10th.
Yeah, exactly. So results equal commitment, right? I think results also, another way to describe results would be consequence.
Yeah.
Right? Results aren't always positive. We want to talk about them today in the positive sense,
true.
right? But sometimes our results are a direct correlation to our actions.
Sure.
Right? Our action or our inaction. And I talked about this a little bit with Spencer Llewellyn when we had him on the podcast, right? In talking about ownership, right? And whether you own something or not, there's going to be consequences. And whether we take action or not, there's going to be results.
Yeah.
And how important is it to have control over those results? And then how important is it for those results to be positive? I mean, Kit, what does it do for you when you achieve positive results? I know what it does for me, brother.
Yeah. You know what? It's a confidence builder. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever talked to somebody and you know they're results driven and you ask them to do something? Put 2 people in your life side by side. One is, hey, this is, I'm going to tell you to do this thing for me or ask you for a favor or whatever. And if he looks you in the eye and says, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
This is what I'll do. You don't need to follow up with that, dude.
No.
It's going to get done.
Yep.
It don't matter if it's, hey, son, I'm going to put gas in your truck on the way back because I just use it to haul some hay or go to the dump
whatever.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
He knows if Dad says he's going to put gas in it, don't matter if it's midnight. By the time I roll out of the field, it's going to be gassed up if I got to go siphon it out of the lawnmower.
Yeah.
And it drives my wife crazy sometimes. She's like, dude, just do it tomorrow or whatever. It's not that big a deal. It's our kid. He's going to be here tomorrow. And I'm like, it doesn't matter because in their eyes and in their mind, when you say something, when Dad says something, I want them to know, period. They don't even have to think. Is he going to show up? Is he going to put gas in the truck? Even those small things, if I commit to buy him a lollipop at Country Cash when we go to town, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you make a commitment, dude, send it all the way through. And it goes back to when you make that commitment to yourself, follow through.
Yeah.
Right? That's the most important follow through you can ever do is to yourself. But it becomes a behavior pattern of habits, right?
Yeah.
And people, whether they say it or not, it'll reflect on you, if you're results driven or not. I mean, it will. It'll be your resume. I was out at a job for an owner of a multi-million-dollar company, and he asked me to do something that's pretty specific. It was very detailed, and it was hard. And he goes, you're the only guy I know that can get it done.
Sure.
So we talked through the plans. I made a few tweaks to the design, and I said, all right, we'll get her done. He goes, you just go out to my plant and you build it right there. And you tell them guys, whatever
What
you
you
need.
need. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. He goes, I'll swing by and check on you. Well, he never swung by and checked on me, right?
Yeah.
So late that night, he hit me. He's like, hey, how close are you to completing that project? Did you get your first test sample done or whatever? And it's a pretty tall task,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. I just sent him a picture of it finished, right? And he came back. He says, "You're bad A, dude." He goes, "I shouldn't even have asked."
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know how you got the material. I don't know what account you put it on. I don't know how you did it, but
You did it.
You
man.
did it.
You delivered the results.
Yeah, and so it's funny because the next day we're sitting out there talking with the plant manager, and he's like, "Dude, what's this Western cat little neck dude doing running around our yard, jumping in cranes and lifts and acting like he owns the place?" And he goes, "That little
That's
neck."
Kit the Kid, man.
he goes, "That little neck right there." He goes, "Just leave him alone. Let him do what he wants to do.
Let him do his deal."
But he said, I shouldn't even have followed up and said, "Hey, are you getting close?
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't get a chance to swing by today. I'm sure you got some questions." I'm like, "No questions. The question is, do you like it?"
Yeah. No
You know what I
questions,
mean?
just results.
And so that was cool because my son was with me and he had just got back from Iowa.
Yeah.
And he's trying to figure out life and figure out future and figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of a turning point and starting point of a life and at 21 years old. And so we're having that conversation, and the owner of that company piped up. He said, "I know what your last name is. So you want a job anywhere at any of my plants?" He goes, "You got one."
Dude, that's awesome.
And I said, "Well, did you even care if he'll misspell resume?" He goes, "I already know what his resume is."
Yeah, I got him down. That's awesome.
But I think those results follow you for good or for bad. And I'm not saying all mine are good. There's some results that I really got to work on and I got to change, man.
Yeah.
That's
some good self-reflection, right? I think we should all do that. Like, and be, be critical of yourself in a good way, right? Be critical of yourself in a way that will allow you to build yourself and become better tomorrow than you are today. And you kind of sparked a thought for me, Kit, when you're talking about commitment, right? In that sometimes we are afraid to commit because it does put a lot of pressure, right? Like I said, the pressure's on once you commit. But I think we also have to realize, there's been times in my life, in my line of work, which isn't the same as your line of work, right? I'm these days I'm sitting behind a desk, and somebody will bring something to me and say, "Hey, I need to know how to navigate XYZ problem, or I need to know how to navigate these laws or whatever it is." And I say, "Well, I don't know right now, but I'll get back to you." And I start digging through these problems, right? I've already committed. I don't know now, but I will get back to you. That's a commitment.
Yeah.
And I start digging through these problems, and you know what? Dude, Kit, I can't find the answer, but you know what I can find? I can find somebody who knows the answer.
Sure.
And I think that we can adopt that with whatever our commitments are. So don't be afraid, Neck Nation, to make commitments. We can be a little apprehensive. We're all going to be a little apprehensive, but just know, like, if it's something that you've taken on, there's nothing that says that you can't get to other resources to help you finish the job or get the task done. And
you know what? You weren't afraid to ask somebody if they knew or ask for help.
And at the end of the day, it's just you're responsible to deliver on your commitment, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And I think sometimes that's the hard part. It's easier to say, "Oh, I don't know, I'll try," than it is to dig around. And then once you dig around, to go to the next level, chapter 2, which is ask other people for help.
Yeah.
There's a country song that says, "I don't know what it feels like to send my only son to war, but I got friends that do."
Yeah.
It's called Friends That Do, and it goes on through all these challenges. And I don't know what it's like to do this or to do that, but I got friends that do. And you know what, man? We got to lean on those friends. You got to lean on your coworkers sometimes. You know?
Yeah. Because
that's what if you're on the other end of the question asking, that's what you want them to do. You want them to get the result. You want them to get them the answer, no matter how they get it, right? As long as it's appropriate to the task. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a story on this reasons or results here. It's a surprise. It's another racing story. You okay if I tell this?
Yeah, full throttle. Send it.
Yeah, I'm going to try and connect this as good as I can. But this was probably back when I was about 16 years old. And I had just barely gotten faster on the dirt bike than my dad, so I got to mention that because that was a big time in my life, right? My dad was always faster than me.
You told me you've always been faster.
No,
bro.
Dude, there was a time where the old man was laying it down on me. So, so 16 years old, I'm on a KTM 300 two-stroke, right? We're at a desert race, and I'm going through my rituals, right? My rituals before, because dude, the butterflies are off the charts, man. You're sick to your stomach. You're like, oh my gosh, the anxiety's through the roof. They're going to drop this flag. All 150 people are going to take off at the same time. We're going to be banging bars, right? I don't want to crash. I'm just sick to my stomach. So I go through my routine, my breathing exercises. I say a little prayer like, hey, keep me safe. Help me get through the start at least, right?
Get all these dudes out of my way.
Get all the dudes out of my way. Let me come out of this in first place, right? And so flag goes up, still got the butterflies, whatever, a little more calm than you are when you first get to the line. And the flag drops, and me and my dad are right next to each other, and we take off. And I pulled my dad, right? So I'm out in front of my dad, and there's maybe only 2 or 3 guys on this start, a little further ahead than I am, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I can come off this bomb run, which was probably about, 3/4 of a mile to a mile long, right? I can come off this bomb run and hit the trail and be a top 5 guy.
Right.
And then I can just kind of work my way up and pick him off for the rest of the race, because I got 90 miles to get this thing done, right? To get it done or not get it done.
Right.
One of the two. Well, we get to the end of the bomb run, and the dust was off the charts. So I pulled off into the sagebrush off to the right-hand side of the trail. Now, in a desert race, there's only the trail is only marked for a certain amount of feet to either side of the trail. And when I say marked, like dangers, right? Dangers are marked with blue ribbons.
Once you get outside that, you're on your own.
You are on your own, dude. And rocks and stuff love to hide behind bushes.
Sure.
Right? So I'm out in the sagebrush, and when you look out across a field that is just sagebrush, right? Doesn't matter what it is, big prairie, whatever, covered in sagebrush.
Looks smooth.
If there's ditches, you don't see them.
Right.
It just looks flat and smooth.
Sure.
So I'm booking along, gonna make a pass on this guy because he's in the dust and I'm no longer in the dust. And I look, dude, and there's a ditch. And this ditch is like 15, 20 feet deep. It is deep. And I am on the gas. And so I lock him up. I lock him up big time. And I go flying down into the bottom of this ditch. Well, it just so happened. I mean, we're out in God's country, right?
Yeah.
There's cows, there's cattle, there's ranchers, there's all kinds of things out there. There was a 1,000-pound ball of barbed wire in the bottom of this ditch, dude, and I went right into it. Right into this ball, went over the bars, laid my back down across this barbed wire ball, flew into the other side of the ditch and tweaked my knee, right? And this was, dude, we'd been racing for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
And you've already disappeared.
And I'm done, dude. I'm done. I laid there and my knee was tweaked up. My back was all tweaked up. And I'm like, gosh, maybe I can go, I can get back on. Everybody had gone by, all 150 bikes. They're gone. I get back on my bike. In fact, there were some people standing there watching, and they're like, dude, we've been pushing on that ball all day trying to get it to move, and it didn't go anywhere. But the second you hit it with your bike, that thing moved like 2 feet.
Well, yeah, because you were pinned.
I was going, dude. And so I hop back on the bike, and I'm pretzeled up, man. My back is just, the muscles are all tweaked, and I'm all messed up. And I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't finish this race. And I go back to the truck, and I put on like a stem machine or something like that, try to get my back calmed down. Well, eventually it calmed down. I'm like, I'm sitting here contemplating with myself, right? I can go back out. I could probably go back out. I'm not going to win nothing, but I could go back out and get my finisher's pin. I could finish this race.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it, kid. I didn't do it. I gave myself reasons, right?
Right.
And what did my results show? I got a big DNF. I did not finish. Now I had a reason, right?
Right.
I had a pretty big get off, but I did recover, and I could have gone back out. So,
but they don't give you a pin that says almost finished but hit ball of barbed wire,
or a pin that says best wreck, right? Yeah. No, they don't. So, sometimes a good reason can turn into a situation where we're able to rectify that. Like, hey, I got in a car accident, but I can call a cab.
But what did you learn from it, Austin?
Well, so here's what I learned from it. The next time this happened in a race, now I didn't crash, but I had a rock that hit my rear sprocket and bent my rear sprocket. My chain fell off. And I sat there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then my dad rolled up on a four-wheeler because somebody went back and told him I was out there. And he towed me back to the truck, and I said, hey, you don't mind if I take a wrench and straighten this sprocket out, throw my chain back on, and go finish this race, do you? He says, no, not at all. And so the next time something bad happened, I went and finished it because I didn't like how I felt when I chose not to finish the race.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You didn't reason your way right out of racing.
Not that one.
Yeah.
And I had a ton of fun, dude, sitting in the back there all by myself.
Yeah.
I was having to pass the four-wheelers. The four-wheelers go after the bikes. But, dude, it was great. I had a good time.
Yeah. You're not bothering nobody back there.
No. Nobody's worried about me when I'm that far behind.
But you know what? And that's awesome. At least you learned something from it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think really with reasons and results, a lot of us have a different emotions about reasons, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones I think nowadays is anxiety. Anxiety is a result. Anxiety is a result of outsourcing our approval to someone else. And I think as we look at those results, if we take control and we don't depend on other people to help us equal our results, and we start to, you know what, do exactly what we're doing, and that's sending a message about knowing our roots and knowing ourselves and remembering the importance of where we're from and what we've learned, you know, and these mistakes we've made and some of the reasons that we've given ourselves, and just know that we're worth it, man. Yeah. Let's not outsource our approval. Let's become that approval. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's like taking control.
Yeah, take control, man. Grab that throttle and equal our own results and equal our own outcome.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. Well, what do you think, kid? Is that our message today?
Frick, yeah, dude. We planned this like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, right. There you go. Awesome. Well, we'll leave you with that, Neck Nation. So let's go out there and get those results, right? Let's not hold ourselves back. If we're going to give a reason to something, let's give it a reason as to why we're going to do it and not why we're not going to do it, right? Exactly. Let's be committal. Let's not be the all try guy, right? Let's be the all do it guy.
Trying's
we got resources.
Lying.
There you go. Trying's lying. We got resources. Use them, guys.
Yeah.
Use them up. So, but we'll leave you with that message, and be sure to like and share this video if you're watching on the YouTubes, if you're doing Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, one of these other podcast platforms. If you can like the video, do so. It'll help us get through these algorithms. We've got our social media. We've got our Instagram, our TikTok, our Facebook. We're posting videos there. We've got some YouTube shorts that come out, so you guys can watch those little clips of our previous podcasts that have good little messages in them, so check those out. And then also go to NECKROOTS.com and check out the swag, the shirts, the hats. I think there's some other things that are going on there pretty soon too.
Yeah, so all kinds of stuff. They're down there in the store working their guts out.
Yeah, they're putting some things together. So maybe some good packages for birthdays or for, Father's Day's coming up in a couple days. I might be kind of tight, but Father's Day next year will work. So
Father's Day's every day, man.
Father's Day's every day,
at the ranch.
There you go. So, well, we'll leave you with that, and bless up, Neck Nation.
Bless up. Thanks for your support.